The senator from Kansas and retired captain of the United States Army Reserves, Roger Marshall. Senator, or should I say Captain? You know, I always knew you as Dr. Marshall. Now it's Captain Marshall. Thank you so much for your service, for being here. Appreciate it. There are going to be soldiers certainly from all over the country, including your home state of Kansas, taking part in these 250th birthday celebrations, not just today, but all year long. What did it mean for you personally to be able to wear the uniform, and why the Army?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just beaming with pride if you can't tell, but first of all, big happy birthday to President Trump. It's been just the honor of a lifetime to work beside him to make America great again. Happy birthday to the Army. 250 years ago, George Washington led the Continental Army. You know, for myself, someone since the Civil War from every generation of my family has served in some branch of the military. My dad served, my brother served. They were Air Force people. They got lost, but my son is now taking up the mantle and is in the Army as well. So just proud to do it. So proud of my soldiers from Fort Riley, Kansas, the 1st Infantry Division known as the Big Red One. They were the first to fight in World War I and World War II and Vietnam. 700 of them are down the border right now in Arizona, keeping us safe, and happy to welcome the 400 some that'll be in the parade later today as well.
You know, I remember when that Big Red One showed up in Iraq. That was a big moment. You know, the Army has announced, Senator, that it has met its recruitment goals 4 months early this year. It's the first time I think that has happened in many years. So we're seeing an uptick in people wanting to serve the country. Why do you think that we're seeing a return to service?
Well, going back to my trip to Arizona again, I can just tell you all the military people had a hop in their step. They're so proud. They're doing what they came to do. And I'll add, when I met Pete Hegseth, he was interviewing for the job, not yet named, and my son happened to be in the room. And they sat down and talked, and they'd still be talking if I hadn't said, hey, Pete, yeah, I'm the senator here. Maybe you should talk to me as well. And I walked out of that room and told the media he'd be the best recruiter we ever had. But even more importantly than that is that the military knows that Donald Trump has their back, and they're just so excited to serve with him as Commander-in-Chief.
Why, Senator, why does the legacy media and the left and other people in our politics, why do they try to diminish military service? I can't tell you how many liberals I talk to who say, oh, our military is filled with juvenile delinquents and people who can't get a job, or they're not smart enough at college. But, you know, when I was in Iraq, and I would put my life, and I was a civilian, I'd put my life in the hands of a junior enlisted Army soldier before any bureaucrat or elected official or college professor. You know,
I'm almost stunned to hear people talk that way. We just dedicated the 1st Infantry Division Monument recently. We added over 600 names of soldiers from the Big Red One that had made the ultimate sacrifice in the wars you're describing. Since about 1991, over 600 men and women made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom of those people who are degrading us. And I have no time for them. Boy. Once upon a time, being in the military was just an obligation that we all thought we should be doing. But the tide is turning. I'm telling you, this younger generation, very patriotic. The DEI really hurt the military, but it's a new day in the military. It's a great time. It's just one of the greatest experiences of my life to be able to serve this country, and it would be for so many others as well.
Who the Commander-in-Chief is, having been through a number of administrations, who the Commander-in-Chief is really does make a difference. I need to switch gears with you here, Senator. Perhaps one of the boldest military operations of the 21st century just occurred. Your reaction to the events that have unfolded in Israel and in Iran over these last couple of days?
Look, we need to continue to stand beside our ally Israel. Look, the Iranian government, a terrorist organization, was 1 week away from having nuclear weapons. They had over 600 pounds of high-grade nuclear material, 60%, and they could easily, in 1 week's time, convert that to 90%. And they had enough uranium, enriched uranium, to make over 10 nuclear warheads. Look, they crossed the red line. President Trump meant it when he said 60 days. I think if nothing else, the rest of the world should know when President Trump draws calls a red line. It's exactly what he means. On day number 61, this attack occurred, and Israel acted alone, but the President Trump did everything he could. I still welcome the Iranian government to come to the table and stop any type of nuclear arsenal that they're developing, and then this will stop. And that's what President Trump wants. So I'm standing beside President Trump. I'm standing beside Israel.
Senator, I also have to ask you about where things stand with the one big beautiful bill being debated in the Senate. When will we see some action? I know that there is talk of trying to get this done by July 4th. Do you think the Senate is going to come to a vote and we'll be able to move forward with this by the July 4th holiday?
Well, I would say if it wasn't for Donald Trump, there was no way we can get this done. But it's so important to America. This bill will prevent the largest tax increase in American history. It's going to slash $2 trillion of spending as well. Failure's not an option. We're making great progress. I think we're about 95% today. I think that there'll be bill text actually released here sometime over the weekend, and that puts us on schedule to get this to the president's desk by July the 4th. So I'm very optimistic. President Trump seems to be able to move mountains. We probably got 10, 15 people that are hesitating right now, but I think when they see that we'll prevent the largest tax increase in history, they know that we have to get something done.
Senator Roger Marshall from the great state of Kansas. Go Army. Thank you for your service, and we appreciate you being here, sir.
You bet. Happy birthday, United States Army.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.